Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me on a boiling hot afternoon here in Frankfurt in Germany to talk more about the newest Shmeemobile, the BMW M8 Competition Coupe in Oxford Green, looking stunning in this afternoon's sunshine. Now you guys have asked me a lot of questions about this car today. I want to answer some of those, like why it's left-hand drive, why it hasn't really featured so much up to this point, what's going to be happening with it, as well as taking you for a bit of an induction tour to go through some of the details, to take you through the complete specification of this car. And when I say complete, I did actually print out the document that goes with all of the spec, and it was about 14 pages from top to bottom, so it might be a slightly condensed version, but also to talk about some of the quite frankly ludicrous amounts of technology that this car has on offer. I'm talking things like the caring car modes, where you can put it into vitalize or relax. It has park assist to park itself, it has reverse assist to drive itself back along the route that you just drove. We'll do some demos of some of this stuff later on. Things like the 360 cameras, the gesture control, all of the different experience settings. There's a lot to it. It's a very clever car. So let's have a bit of an induction tour, go through the spec then of the newest Shmeemobile. If I may say so myself, the spec that I've chosen on this M8 is absolutely superb. It is a stunning looking thing, and I'm very happy with the choices that I made. In a way, it's reminiscent of the former Shmini. You might remember my old classic Mini I used to have, also in a dark green with a light coloured interior. Then on this, combine those as well with the visual exterior carbon fibre options, plus the upgraded wheels, and a whole host of other spec options we can go through in a moment. But look at this colour. As we come round and the sunshine bounces off it, the colour starts to pop. You get those bright highlights against that deep, rich, metallic green, a colour that I chose from BMW Individual's back catalogue. I think this is the first M8 that was painted in this colour, but like all of the Shmeemobiles, there's a reason behind it, a story, a reason for the choice. I didn't just pluck it out of thin air. Now, lots of you have been wondering why up to this point you haven't seen so much of the car. I collected it, of course, on a very special day at the BMW M studio over in Munich, joined by Markus Flasch, the CEO of BMW M. Well, I've driven the car in total so far about 900 kilometers. At the moment we're in Frankfurt. You can see the skyscrapers of the city skyline over in the background. That's about a 400 kilometer drive. So the rest from when I collected it, it had 19 kilometers when I collected it. It now has 901, has all been, I guess, just kind of daily usage. But the car needs to get up to 2,000 kilometers so that it can have its end of running in inspection service and the oil change. And from that point, the fun can really begin. So it's kind of been a little bit in the background, but today I wanted to share a little bit more and answer some of your questions about it. So we'll go through the spec in detail, which, like I said, is quite a long options list, but a lot of you have asked me, why is it left-hand drive, not right-hand drive? Well, like some of the other Shmeemobiles, it's left-hand drive because it's going to spend most of its time being driven in left-hand drive markets. This car was intended to live out here in Germany at my place here in Frankfurt. So it's basically going to be used exactly where it's at home, for barreling down the autobahns in comfort, in style. It's a sporty car to enjoy. It's also a brilliant daily car to drive. That's why I wanted to keep it over here. Not much drives down the autobahn in speed in the way that something like this does, and we'll have lots of opportunities to experience that as well. So the car is staying out here in Germany. Before you ask, it is not scratched or anything, by the way. This is all just a little bit dirty because, like I say, I have been driving it a fair amount. I don't actually know if yes, I have. I was going to say, have I even washed it up to this point? But yes, I have had to wash it on one occasion. But around the outside then, let's talk about the visual options, the colour. And look at this colour. When you come in close, look at that shade. It is perfect. Green, I think, is making a resurgence. Often green with tan. I'll talk about why I didn't go for tan in a moment too. But this colour of green is called Oxford Green. It's a colour, like I said, that has a reason. It was originally used back in the 1990s on the old BMW 8 Series, the previous generation technically of 8 Series, having had an absence until it was brought back a few years ago with the M850i. So it's a colour of which 800 cars in total were originally painted in this exact shade, and I hoped it would suit the new car, and I really and truly think it does a perfect job of that. Around the outside, like I said, we've got the visual carbon fibre exterior pack, so all of the different options. We've got BMW laser lights, which are brilliant lights, it has to be said. We've got the upgrade wheel option, which wearing Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres. I think they're the 813M wheels, correct me if I'm wrong, the 20-inch wheels. We've got more carbon fibre, the mirror caps. The roof is carbon as standard, always on the car. As we come to the back, again, carbon fibre for the boot lip spoiler. This being the M8 Competition means it is really the flagship of the range. You have the M8 and the M8 Competition. They both share the 4.4 litre twin power turbo V8, making 600 or 625 horsepower respectively. This car 625 along with 750 newton meters of torque. It has the MX drive system, the four-wheel drive system, where at a flick of a switch you can basically put it into two-wheel drive if you want to go and have some hooligan style fun. We've got the M Sports exhaust, which actually sounds surprisingly good. I've been very impressed with the sound that this car makes. Let's come and have a look at the interior options as well. The main thing is Silverstone, the colour that I've gone for. Silverstone and Schwarz, which is German for black, the dual tone leather that we have on the inside. Now this is a specification that I always like, green with silver, or in this case it's almost white actually in this kind of sun. But you could, in theory, do green with tan, a very popular choice, but I've never been the biggest fan of tan interiors, and I particularly like this interior. You've got the Bowers & Wilkins sound system and an amazing lighting array. You've got lights everywhere, so when you drive the car at night, and you can change all of the colours, you've got lighting in the back of the speaker grills, all around the different surfaces, and it turns out really, really nicely. I'm going to take a step inside just for a moment, and in fact, I think I'm going to start it up because it's pretty toasty at the minute. I'm not quite sure. Yes, 28.5 degrees. 902 kilometers, as you can see. We've got the power-assisted steering wheel, which pulls itself down. I've also got over here, by the way, the additions to the Shmee 150 shop, the 8 Series Generation shirt, and also the hoodie, which I think are really cool. You'll find a link to those down below. But inside here is where the tech begins. To show you, and I guess pick out a few highlights very quickly. Up here, we've got a drowsiness sensor, which detects if the driver is falling to sleep and will alert you making sounds. You've got the gesture control. If you want to raise and lower the volume, you do this, and it knows what you're doing, or you can just pause it like that. You can wave away a phone call or answer a phone call by doing that as well. We've got a whole host of different assist systems, some of which I'm going to show you shortly, but you can configure them all. It does things like if you're going towards the screen, it detects that you're coming and wakes up and brings up different modes. There's so much going on. We'll go through more of those, and in fact, I'll show you things like the reversing assistant in a moment, which is super, super cool. There's one other thing I want to show you before that though, and that is what I've got here from Carly, their connected car OBD reader, which plugs into your car's OBD port down here in the footwell, and then it connects through the app, and you can run a health check to see any issues, you can do a used car check, and you can also do some coding. So let me plug this in and we'll let it connect. It plugs into the OBD port, which is just down here. It can work with all sorts of different cars. We can then go and connect it, just bring this into life. That will now find the reader, so you can do some coding. For example, you can choose whether stop start is always off, you can choose whether the car might chime when you lock it or might automatically fold the mirrors. But if I just take this, I can demonstrate a little bit of the functionality that it actually offers us. So we've got health diagnostics. If we just go in here, this is where it shows you some of the systems that might have issues with cars. Orange issues are things that might have just been a sensor that triggered once, or things you might need to look into. If they were red, that's an urgent problem. But you can see with a car like this, it has a lot of different ECUs and a lot of different things that will give us readings. We've also got customization. This is where you can unlock and code hidden features, so you could go through those, the things that I mentioned. For example, you can basically set the car, different options in different cars. You've got the used car check, where it will check the mileage of your engine and your gearbox and make sure that all is in sync. And then you've also got the live data screen, where in here it will connect, it will load up. We just start the readout and it will give us the exact figures, so you can see, well, we're not moving anywhere, but we've got the live temperatures from the engine that is currently active and warm. So you've got a lot of access to data here, a lot of different things you can do. You can run updates, it will store your previous searches as well, and you can set exactly which car you've got. So Carly allows you to see a lot of information about your car in detail. For example, you could run a check on a car you're about to purchase and see the details. You can check your own car, perhaps being able to save a lot of money from visiting places, and just get an understanding of exactly what's going on as well, all through that app, nice and easily. Going back to the spec then for a moment, I printed out a few of the pages here just to show you very quickly. Of course, my car is in a BMW Individual colour, but we've got the 20-inch wheels, we've got the Silverstone and Schwarz interior, we've got the carbon fibre inlays, along with this from BMW Individual, the really nice cup holder cover with the Shmee 150 logo laser etched inside. We've got the M drivers package, which increases the top speed to 305 kilometers per hour instead of 250. I wonder if we'll be able to experience that at some point. We've got the M carbon exterior packet, the M competition packet. There are lots and lots and lots of different options, as you can see. It would take me forever to literally go through all of these. The warm package to have the heated steering wheel. It also has a heated armrest, by the way, heated armrest and heated central armrest too, which is quite a nice detail. I don't think I've had a car with that. We've got the privacy glass, we've got the parking assist plus, we've got, I mean, just read down the list, the Bowers and Wilkins sound system, which is fantastic. We've got the M carbon ceramic brakes, gives us the gold calipers as well. Keep going through a little bit. This is all in German, obviously German spec vehicle that we have here. I think these are all the kind of standard tech things that you have installed on the car, and then just the laser lights on the final page. But that was a bit of a summary. The full list was quite lengthy, we could say. Now, other things to talk about. Let me show you in here. Let's go into car, and this system is great. As you come closer to it, it detects that you're putting your hand there, and it works really, really nicely. But caring car, I mentioned earlier. Let me show you caring car. I'm going to close the door actually, let the air conditioning do a slightly better job of its thing. What do we need? We need to have the music on slightly. I guess, there we go, so that it can turn on the program, because Vitalize and Relax have these complete programs where in sync it does the air conditioning, your heated and cooled seat you can see has come on, it's playing music, but I've got the volume right down, obviously YouTube video, copyright and all of that, but it has this whole system. I mean, you can see it's raising and lowering the power of the air conditioning to vitalize or to relax you, depending whether you want hot or cold. It's really, really quite funky. Actually, I need to turn that down because it stayed on quite strong. But you've got all of these settings. You also have in here the experience modes, which are a slightly more gentle equivalent of the same kind of thing, where you've got executive, expressive, well-being, and it will do the lighting and different things like that. Now, just to turn off the music, I can't at the moment demonstrate the lighting, but the ambient lighting in here is really special. You have all of these kind of strips around the different interior trim pieces and inside the speaker grills, which illuminate, and you can talk to the car and actually change the color of them. So to demonstrate that, hello BMW, change the lighting to blue.
I selected the light colour blue with contouring in blue.
And you can actually just see the blue speaker grills, I think, in there at the moment. Obviously quite dim against the bright sunshine, but really nice, especially at night. Although I think for this car, hello BMW, set the lighting to green.
Very good. I selected the light colour green with contouring in green.
Perfect. You also have strips here. They're all around. It's really cool in the dark. It's a really, really nice place, obviously in normal kind of lighting, not the bright sunshine that we have now. So in terms of tech, you're getting the point already. We've got the M1 and M2 modes. This is where you can set up your full M settings, M dynamic mode. You can go into the various mode and setup controls down here. If you press and hold, it will go into track. So if you press and hold M mode, it goes into track, where you've got this much more focused display. You've also got that rev counter on the head-up display that you can just about see as well. If I actually press activate on that, you'll notice it gives me all of my information that I could possibly want in terms of the driver's configuration and that side of things. And then if I go into the normal setup here, back into normal road mode first, into setup, you can see how I can configure all of this as well, including MX Drive, which if I press and hold traction control, turn that off, you'll see MX Drive becomes an option we can select and configure it just in here. And then you've got four-wheel drive sport, or you've got two-wheel drive if you'd like to do a burnout or some donuts, although four-wheel drive sport is a really, really good system. Brake, you can change the feel of the brake pedal. That's pretty clever as well, to be able to adjust that kind of technology and play with all of this. Now, I'm going to turn it back on because we should probably have the car back into a normal setting, but I do want to demonstrate to you how the parking system works, or rather the reversing system, because when you do this and you put the car into this setting, and let's say you turn on the reversing assistant, what I'm going to do is get comfortable in the car, put it obviously with the memory seats, putting the seat back into my position. I am going to pop the camera somewhere so that you can see exactly what this does. Actually, we're in a completely private car park at the moment, so I can just do a quick demo to show you. If I do this and wiggle and just maneuver the car on an odd route. And obviously we've got the bird's eye camera here, and let's say I then want to, you know, almost do a bit of a U-turn and kind of turn around, and then I think, oh no, I need to go back where I've just been. You select reverse, the steering wheel is now going to do everything itself. I'm in charge of the throttle, but the steering wheel, while I just delicately balance on the brake, is going to take us back the exact same route that I just drove, and I'm not doing that. The car is doing that. That's how clever this stuff has now got. I am literally hands off the wheel, and then it comes to the end, back to where we were, just like that. How cool is that? The reversing assist. The park assist will obviously spot parking spaces and guide you straight into one. It's pretty neat. Obviously there's our stop start. Just turn it back on. I can't rev it big time while we've still got very few miles on the clock, but you can tell this is going to be pretty cool when we can start getting over the revs. For those first 2,000 kilometers, I can only go up to 4,500 revs, about 150, 160 kilometers per hour, and then take it basically pretty easy. But I'm genuinely surprised. I thought it would be way quieter than this. I'm genuinely impressed by the noise that this car makes. So we've got everything. I mean, it's absolutely loaded, and this is what I love about the car. It's super comfortable, it's super well equipped, it's a great car. You've got lovely trims and details and finishing and all of the various bits around. For example, the lighting here, this illuminates. The M8 badge on the headrest actually illuminates when you unlock the car and you're looking into it from the front, and they just stand out. And I mean, the seats look so good anyway when you're looking through. You've got that green paintwork and then the very bright contrast to the interior. Overall, it's an absolute winner. As I mentioned, we've got the gold carbon ceramics with the bicolor of the wheels as well. They've got that silver diamond cut face on the black other parts. Absolute nightmare to clean. Absolute horrible nightmare to clean, as you can imagine, from quite how many spokes, triangles, hexagonals, whatever other shapes you've got that make up that wheel design. Not the easiest in the world at all. Another option that we have on this car, if we pop open the engine bay, is something that I'm always undecided whether to order. But in the case of this, we have the carbon fibre engine bay cover, a reasonable option to add, and it does look very nice atop the V8. We've also here got the Oxford Green BMW Individual paint colour sticker as well, just a nice detail. Obviously the power plant and the source of a lot of fun and happiness, especially when you're cruising in this car down the autobahns. Now, like I said, it is going to be going back to BMW M to have some M performance parts fitted. Things like the new grille, things at the back. I'm not going to be too open with all of the details yet. We'll save that until we're ready to get everything installed. That's quite nice. You see the sun bouncing off the opening in the door frame there. But this car, I just really, I mean, it's early days of using it. It's going to be a kind of daily car, a car to just use, to enjoy, to drive, to be relaxed in. I'm interested to hear what you guys would like to see and hear about it in future, but this is why it's a left-hand drive car out here in Germany, to enjoy driving around this country and around Europe as well, and I think there's going to be a lot of that to come. So I hope that's answered some of your questions, been an interesting look at the spec overall that I chose to have on the M8 Competition Coupe. The Coupe, as opposed to the convertible or the Grand Coupe, I think the Coupe just has the smartest look, and it's also the most sporty version overall at the end of the day, and I think the most suited. It's basically a 2+2, but perfect for the kind of purposes that I'm going to be using it for, and a touch shorter as well than the Grand Coupe. In this spec though, looks amazing. I'm very happy with it, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, learning a little bit more. Do check out Carly as well. Their links are down below if you'd like to find out more about the connected car OBD reader. But that is it for this time. Thank you very much for watching, as always guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!